Hey friend, it is Kate here. Thank you so much for jumping on my channel and joining me for a class today. Now, today's class is one that felt oh so good to me when I recorded it, so I hope it is helpful for you. We are here to relax, to decompress, to kind of calm some anxieties. Oftentimes, I think more of Pilates as more of a workout and yoga as there for decompression and relaxation. But the fact is, Pilates is a really mindful form of exercise, one that really puts us in tune with our body, something that we can kind of concentrate on. So I find it very valuable in my own tool belt to help me when I do feel anxious, when I do feel stressed out. Nothing makes me feel better than jumping on my mat and just really mindfully moving. Today's class, we will, of course, turn our tummy muscles on, open up our chest, lengthen our spine with some delightful Pilates stretches, and hopefully by the end of class, you will feel as calm and not so anxious, just like I did right when I finished. Go ahead, roll out your mat. Let's get started. We'll start today laying on our back. Take your time to arrive. Go ahead and plant your feet into the floor. Take your hands either by your sides. You could have one on your heart, one on your stomach, but just a moment to kind of check in how our body is feeling. Maybe close your eyes and lightly press down into your heel, and let's go ahead and imprint the spine. Feel your low back touch the mat, and then follow your spine up your back to the place between your shoulders. Take a moment and pause there, kind of concentrating on that spot between your shoulders, and open up across the chest a little bit more. Take a great big inhale. As you exhale, think about cinching the waist, beginning to turn on your tummy muscles. Another big inhale. Big breath out. And just simply notice how your body is feeling right now. Is there tension in a certain spot? Do you know you want to focus on a particular area? We're very gently going to wake up our spine and our hips by simply lightly arching the back and imprinting the spine. So you can kind of think of this as kind of a tuck of the tail back and forth. And it doesn't have to be as big as mine. It could be bigger, it's okay. We're just lightly moving in our lumbar area. It can feel very relaxing, and it can feel oh so good on my back if I've been kind of on my feet all day and I feel like my low back is kind of bothering me. Go ahead and press your small back down into the mat, pause. And again, just notice if taking that small bit of movement changed anything in how you're feeling. Did we tense up in our shoulders? Can you spend a moment not only opening up across your chest, but relax your neck. Relax your jaw. Eyes can still be closed or open, but maybe smile, bringing a sense of happiness, of joy, a little positivity into the beginning of our Pilates. And then I want you to lightly heel-toe the feet a little bit wider, gently knock the knees together, press the heels more, really imprint the spine. Your knees may or may not touch. I don't have a lot of internal rotation, so my knees don't always touch, depending on how wide I've taken my legs. We're just getting some internal rotation. We do a lot more external rotation in a lot of my classes, but it's good to move our legs in all directions. Now from here, simply begin to windshield wiper the knees side to side. Still just waking up the body, kind of letting any twist, any natural kind of movement happen as we do this. It might feel nice even to really let your knees fall to one side and pause for a second. Maybe even I'm reaching over to the right, so I think about squeezing my left thigh and kind of pushing the front of my left hip further forward for a bigger, deeper stretch. Come back center, let your knees fall to the left. This time squeeze your right thigh, that thigh butt connection point if you're new to me. I've been saying that so long, I just assume everyone knows what I'm talking about. But if you're new here, that place where your thigh and your glute connect, I call it the thud. Come on back to center. Heel toe the feet back in line with your hips. Do imprint the spine. Take the fingertips high overhead. Very lightly tuck your chin to your chest. Not as if you're really trying to pull your chin in, but just enough that you can lengthen through your topmost vertebra. And stretch from your tailbone through the back of the body, all the way out the top of the head and out your fingers. Take a big deep inhale here. Big breath out. Pull your right knee into your chest. Give yourself a little hug, a little squeeze, and circle the knee around. Sometimes it feels so good to lightly just find some movement in our ball and socket joint. Perhaps take your left hand to your left hip and notice if you're letting your left hip move. Now, if it's moving because it feels good, that's great, but we can actually start to turn our abdominal muscles on a little bit by pulling our navel in, wrapping our tummy towards the middle of our body, and as much as you can, keeping your hips even and steady while we take our gentle circles here. Reverse your circles if you haven't already, still kind of stirring the pot. Maybe even gently press your left heel into the mat, activating your left hamstring and keeping your left knee from wiggle wobbling. Pause and just gently pull the knee directly into the chest. Take a breath and set it down. Now, same thing other side. Start by pulling the left knee in, maybe right hand to right hip, and as you start to circle, maybe think about turning our tummy muscles on a little bit. Think about your right hip growing kind of heavier, sinking into the mat beneath you, keeping yourself even still. Stomp down into your right heel, reverse your circles in your left leg. Just getting some movement in our hips before we do anything too big, too crazy, but absolutely turning on our abdominal muscles even while we lie here. Eventually pause and set the knee down onto the ground. Press gently into both heels. Take your hands not quite by your hips, but off of your mat. Not in a T, just gently away from the body so we can roll our shoulders open. Now press into the heels, tip your pubic bone up and lift all the way up to the top of our bridge pose. Now pause here in your bridge. It doesn't have to be the biggest, deepest bridge you've ever done. What I want you to focus on more than anything else is the length that we've created in our body. Imagine, if you will, a little diagonal line starting from your shoulders, going through the side of your body, out your knees. Can we keep that space so even? So we don't really want to sink the hips down as much as we can, lifting the hips so in that diagonal line. Imagine there's almost a ball between your inner thighs and give it a little squeeze. We don't want to actually knock the knees together, but just turning on our inner thighs. Squeeze your that thigh butt connection point like you could hold a pencil between your glute and your hamstrings. Roll the shoulders back, point the nose up to the sky. Again, concentrate on relaxing the jaw and the neck. I know it can be so easy to kind of tense up there. And for me, it's always helpful to put a smile on my face to remind myself I'm doing something so good for my body right now. Take a big, deep, full inhale. From your sternum, roll down. Now, as you roll down, pay attention to your shoulder blades. Are they lifting off the mat? It's easy to kind of curl up, but I want you to press them down as we continue to roll to the mat. Now again, press into the heels, one vertebra at a time, lift up, find your bridge pose, pause, nose to the sky, squeeze the thut. Think about hugging your belly button in towards your spine. Take a big inhale. From the sternum, roll down first. Keep the shoulder blades connected. Slow and steady. Find the base of your lovely little spot. And then one more time, lift back up, find your bridge pose and pause. Tummy in, shoulders broad, nose to the sky. Take a big, deep, full inhale. Great big breath out. Another big, deep, full inhale. Big breath out. One more time. And then slowly let everything roll down. Again, imprint the spine, press down into your heels. Now reach your hands over your head. Stretch from your hips through your side body, out your fingers. Take your hands back down by your sides. Palms into the floor, shoulder blades connect. From here, can we once more press into our left foot so we can lift our right leg up? Now, again, we can give it a little hug. Maybe this time it feels good to kind of pull it out towards your right armpit, getting into your inner thigh a little bit. But as you pull, make sure your left hip isn't moving. We want to keep it connected to the ground. We want to stomp it down into our left foot. Eventually, though, I do want you to bring your foot to a little tabletop, knee over hip. Toe can be pointed, flexed, or soft, whatever feels most natural. Take both hands to your hips. Almost feel like a heavy weight is sitting on your tummy, encouraging those muscles to grow deeper to the midline of the body. And then from here, all I want us to do is tap our toe down to the ground. Exhale, tone the tummy, pull your knee back up. Inhale, tap your toe down to the ground. Exhale, cinch the waist, pick it back up. As we move our foot up and down, take a moment again to concentrate on your upper body. It's so easy to find that tension there, but I want you to keep the chest open. I want you to keep your nose pointing up to the sky and perhaps have a lovely little smile on your face. 2 more. Inhale down. Exhale up. Last one down. Exhale up. Set your right foot on the floor. Lightly stomp down into your right foot, activating the back of the leg, and hug your left knee in. And again, maybe we pull our knee to the outside edge of our body right now, giving a little hug, little squeeze, opening up through our inner thigh a little bit here. And then as you feel ready, bring the knee over the hip. Decide if we want our toe pointed, flex, soft. Oftentimes if I point too hard, I'll start to cramp up through the front of my quad. Flexing usually turns on my hamstrings, or you could just let the foot be a little bit floppy. But from here, inhale, toe down. Exhale, pull the navel in as you lift. Now, as we lift and lower, of course, we're relaxing our upper body, our face. Maybe bring your right hand to your right hip, making sure it's not moving. It's easy to kind of dump the weight into one side as we move the leg away from the body and then back into the midline. But ideally, we want to feel our hips stay so even with one another. For me, the more I actively press down into my right heel, keeping my right hamstring nice and active, my right knee pointing up to the sky, the more likely I am to keep my hips in place. One more time. Down. Pull it up, pause. Now pull both knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug, little squeeze. And as you do so, rather than curling the head and chest up like a ball, I want you to feel your low back press deeper into the mat. Feel that kind of openness that we create with the heavy weight of our knees. They might stay together, or you might lightly open them out, kind of pulling them to the sides of your body. It just depends on your hips, whatever feels best. Take a big inhale, big breath out. Now do make yourself a teeny tiny little ball, and as silly as we feel, I want you to rock and roll. Now this is a great little massage on the back of the body. Also, let's face it, if we're trying to de-stress, doing something kind of silly can be helpful as well. You might feel ridiculous, that's okay. This time, rock and roll all the way up to a nice, easy seat. Now here in our seat, we're gonna start with a little mermaid stretch. That's stretching along the side of our body. And hopefully you don't run into your plants. Hold on to the front of your shins as you roll the shoulders back and lift the head and chest up. A lot of times I do see people start to lift their chin, thinking they're lengthening through their spine, but you're actually shortening your spine here. Gently pull the chin in and think about lifting up from the ears, growing long from the sitting bones of the body at the top of the head. Take an inhale, lift the shoulders up high. Exhale, roll them down the back and broaden across the chest. From here, both fingertips will lift up to the sky. Rotate the pinkies together and grow longer out of the waist. Before we go anywhere at all, I want you to knit the ribs together just a little bit more, but at the same time, wrap your shoulder blades towards one another in the back of the body. And then drop your right hand low to the ground. Before we go anywhere, reach your left fingertips up higher as you crawl your right hand away and find the beginning of a side stretch. Now reach the fingertips further and further, pull the navel up and in, flip the palm so it's facing away from your body, and cactus your arm. Press the elbow back, press the hand back, point your nose up to the sky. Take a big, deep, full inhale. Big breath out. Reach your hand straight, look forward, and then forward fold over your right knee. Now, I don't worry about shoving my head close to my knee. Instead, I kind of imagine that there is a ball sitting on top of my thigh, and I'm draping over the ball and just opening up through the back of the body. Take a big inhale. Exhale, maybe drop just a little bit lower, and then roll yourself all the way up to a nice tall seat. Both hands lift up high. Rotate the pinkies and lift out of the waist, just like we did on the other side. Drop the left hand down, reach the right hand up, crawl over to the left. Flip the palm away from the body, cactus the arm. Press elbow and hand back and point your nose up to the sky. Big deep inhale. Big breath out. Straighten the arm, look forward, and then round over your left leg. Find that easy little forward fold. Maybe let the head be heavy, maybe nod the head a little side to side. Roll yourself up to a nice tall seat. Now we can take a bigger variation of our mermaid stretch if we want to by coming onto our knees. If kneeling is not in the cards for us today, you can repeat this with your legs crossed, and that's perfectly fine. We might not feel it quite as deep through the back of our body though. Either way, hands to the tops of our thighs, shoulders back, lift out of the waist. Even here, engage the tummy muscles. Think about wrapping in and lifting up. Big deep inhale, hands high over the head. Rotate the pinkies and lift up. And then drop your right hand down. Lift your left hand up and stretch over. Now, it's very easy to kind of curl and look down to the ground. We're going to keep pulling our shoulder blades towards one another, opening up across our chest. If we want to go further than this, I want you to take your hips and push them away from the hand on the floor. So for me, my right hand is on the floor, and I'm going to push my hips to the left. Oh, and that deepens that stretch in just the perfect way for my body. Flip your palm once more away. Cactus the arm. Press elbow and hand back, and maybe point your nose up to the sky. Take a big deep inhale. Big breath out. Now straighten the arm, look forward, and guide yourself all the way up to a nice tall seat. That is honestly my favorite variation of mermaid stretch in our Pilates class. And if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. That doesn't mean you're doing it wrong or that anything's wrong with you. All bodies are different. Rotate the pinkies, lift up and out of the waist, pull the tummy in, shoulders down the back. And then drop your left hand down, reach your right hand higher, and crawl over. Now, pause there for a second and make sure our shoulder blades are kissing towards one another. We're not curling down, we're not caving in our chest, we're opening up and across. If we want to go further, we're going to take our hips and push them away from our left hand on the ground. Hold there, flip the palm, and then again, if you want to cactus the arm, point the nose up to the sky. Press elbow and hand back. Big, deep, full inhale. Big breath out. Straighten the arm, look forward, and guide yourself all the way up to a seat. Sit taller, sit straighter. Full inhale. Big sigh out. Go ahead and take your feet out in front of you. We'll open our legs about as wide as the mat. Not the deepest kind of straddle that we can do, but just opening our legs a little. If we need a bend in our knees, that is okay. If you can keep them straight, that's great too. You could also roll up your mat or sit on a block to give your hips a little extra height. No matter where you are though, I do want you to flex your feet and lift out of the waist, just like we did on our hands and our knees, or on our little kneeling position. You can take your hands to your thighs and kind of push out of your waist. Both fingertips lift up to the sky, rotate the pinkies inward, lift up. Big, deep, full inhale. Exhale, take a twist to the right. Right hand back, left hand forward. If this is too much, you can make it smaller. You could even just have your hands behind your head as you take that twist, and it might not feel quite as deep. But it's so good to just wring out the spine to reach your fingertips out and away. Big inhale, hands up. Exhale, pull the navel in, take your twist in the opposite direction. Unravel both hands up. Flip the palms, push them actively down. Inhale, swim them actively up, turning on your arm muscles. Now once more, go ahead, take a twist to the right and pause. Now remember how I said when we kind of forward fold, it's like there's a beach ball that we're draping over. I want you to envision there's a great big beach ball sitting on the top of your right thigh. You're first going to lightly hinge from your hips, reaching your fingers in the direction of your right foot. And now take a big inhale, and I want you to curl over the beach ball, curl over your ball, reaching your hand towards your toes. You can kind of reach out towards your pinky toe, towards your big toe. If you are really far away from there, it's okay, you're still doing it correctly. But if we can, sometimes for me, I like to hold on to my pinky toe, pull my navel in round a little bit more, and reach my fingertips further back behind me. Big inhale. Now a true forward fold over your right leg. And again, this is not about shoving your head closer to your leg. I could go a lot lower, but I wouldn't get as much roundness to the back of my body and opening up through my vertebra. Take a big inhale. Exhale, maybe drop a little bit lower. And then roll yourself all the way up. We'll do the same thing to the other side. Big inhale, hands reach high. Exhale, twist to the left. Spread your little wings far away, pull the navel in. Make sure you almost think about pulling your right hip back a little bit. It's very easy to kind of jet that right hip and right foot forward. Now again, we're gonna look to our left foot. We're gonna take our right fingertips and gently hinge, and then round over your imaginary beach ball. Hand can go wherever we need to, but if you can, take it to the pinky toe and kind of push back and reach your left fingertips further away. Big, deep, full inhale. Exhale, forward fold over your left leg. If you want to, drop a wee bit lower. Roll yourself all the way up to a nice, tall seat. One more time, swim the hands up high, turn on the arm muscles. It's not just about lifting them up. I'm very actively lifting them up, and then I actively push them down, pulling my navel in as I do. My tummy is doing all the work. No matter what kind of exercise I do, no matter what kind of movement in Pilates, I think about tummy in and helping to guide that movement. This next time, take your hands high over your head and pause. Exhale one more time, twist to your right. We're gonna do more of a little saw, a true saw. We've kind of been building up to it. Start by rounding and reaching towards your right foot. Take a big deep inhale, and I want you to pulse your fingertips towards your toe 3 times. With an exhale, we go down. 3, 2, 1, pause. Belly button in, reach the fingertips away again. 3, 2, 1, pause. Last time, 3, 2, 1, big breath. Exhale, forward fold over your left leg. Roll yourself up to a seat. Both hands swim high. Exhale, twist left. Reach your right hand towards your left toe. Hinge, reach for your pinky toe, and it's our little saw. 3, 2, 1, pause. Again, 3, 2, 1, pause. Last time, 3, 2, 1, big breath. Exhale, forward fold over the leg. Roll yourself all the way up to a seat. Last little bit, go ahead and lie on your tummy. Find your position here on your stomach. Take your hands by your sides. Wing your elbows towards one another. Very lightly tuck your chin to your chest. Pretend I'm standing in front of you and I just grabbed hold of your ears and I pulled your ears forward. Press down into your pubic bone, squeeze your thigh, trim your waist, and then from here, roll the shoulders back, lift up into the tiniest of baby cobras or swan, whatever you want to call it. Press into your feet, lift the low belly up and in, big inhale. Exhale, one vertebra at a time to lower down. Inhale, roll the shoulders, lift the head, the chest. Exhale, one vertebra at a time, lower down. Now this time we're going to lift up and look over a shoulder. If you need to go a little lower because we're pausing there, it's okay. But go ahead, lift up, pause. Pubic bone down, belly button in, take a big inhale. Press into the heels of your hands, soften the shoulders down, and very purposefully look over your right shoulder. Point your nose back to center. Very purposely look over your left shoulder. Point your nose back to center. Lower all the way down. Now this might be too much for some of us. Sometimes I'm really in the mood for a great, big, giant spinal extension, and sometimes I am not at all. But we're gonna press into our pubic bone, pull the navel in, and maybe roll the shoulders so much that we can straighten our arms. Now I think about pushing my sternum forward, lifting my head a little higher, and really pressing my pubic bone down to the ground, still squeezing my thigh. Now just like we did a moment ago, big deep inhale. Exhale, very purposeful, look over your right shoulder. Inhale, look center. Very purposeful, look over your left shoulder. Back center. Take a big breath. Lower all the way down. If that was too much for us, that is okay. I hope you just did a little swan. Now go ahead and press yourself back to a child's pose. Just crawl your fingertips further away. Hold there for a moment. Take a big inhale. Big sigh out. As you arrive here, take a moment to check in with yourself. Notice how you feel since we began class. There's not a right or a wrong, but oftentimes when I am feeling a little anxious, a little stressed, just jumping on my mat, mindfully moving my body, listening to exactly what it needs really helps to calm me down. It's a nice 2-for-1. I give my mind exactly what it needs, and I give my body what it needs too. Take a big inhale, big sigh out. Bring yourself up to a seat. And as always, pat yourself on the back. Thank yourself for doing something so good and just for you. I hope you found that gentle Pilates class just as relaxing as I did. It's one of my favorite ways to kind of help myself decompress, de-stress, especially this time of the year. Holidays can be a little rough on us. So, again, extra pats on the back today. I cannot wait to see you again. I hope you have a great rest of your day.